Hi there, my name is Gina. Welcome back. I am just trying to catch up on all of the finished objects and new projects that I've started since I sort of did the last full rundown in August. I shared another little video, but that one was just focused on Halloween fall items that I had finished, but I've been doing a lot more, sometimes not seasonally appropriate things. So yeah, let's just jump in and get started. I'll start with what I'm wearing. Stand up so you can see a little bit better. I know it's really hard to see close up to the camera, so I will try to insert some photos that I have taken of me modeling this in sort of full body format so you can see what it looks like. But this is the 3-season pullover by Wool and Pine. I shared, I think in my last video, that I was working on the 3-season cardigan, and that's the one that I had the disaster with, where the yarn that I was using, the second skein of it was much more saturated than the first one. It was a speckled yarn, and I have done nothing on that project. It is still sitting exactly the same place I left it, I think, after I recorded that video. So it's still on pause, but in the meantime, Wool and Pine reached out and asked if I would be interested in testing this pullover version of the pattern, and I just think it is so gorgeous. The cables on it, I mean, I loved the cables on the cardigan, obviously that's why I wanted to make it, but I think it's just so pretty on the pullover version as well. So this is knit in the actual recommended yarn for once. Usually I'm not a use the recommended yarn kind of person, but I had heard about this yarn and so I was interested in trying it out. This is Cascade Cantata in the color Cherry. It is I don't have a ball of it in here with me with a label, but it is, I want to say, like 40-60 or close to 50-50 wool and cotton, so that it is much less warm than a worsted weight wool sweater would be. And I think between the yarn and the openness of the lace, that it really does work as a transitional season piece, which in the area that I live in, where we do not have long cold winters, we do get some days of cold, like serious cold, but they are very short-lived. It's not like months and months and months of, you know, temperatures in the 40s and unders for sure. So like this will be really good for me. And I, you know, if you can't tell, well, one, I'm definitely in a pink phase. You'll see another pink work in progress in just a minute. But also I was thinking of this more as a spring piece, because that's really, last year I was thinking about it, and that is where I tend to get a lot more wear out of my lighter weight knits, is not in the fall, but in the spring, because it takes a little while to warm back up to our horrible scalding temperatures that we have all summer long. And so I found myself able to wear like my lighter weight, even 100% wool sweaters into March. Like that's pretty normal. So I think that this will be great for March and April weather. I will get some good wear out of this, as well as I can wear it now, even if it looks a little bit out of season in terms of the color. So I made the size 4, which is the 46 inch measurement, but full bust measurement. That should have been about 6 inches of positive ease for my high bust, which is where I like to use my high bust measurement, because it is about 6 inches smaller than my full bust, and because there is such a difference, like things just fit me better if I use the high bust measurement rather than my full bust. So I did choose the size with the recommended ease. However, I was a tester, and what seemed to happen for most of us who were in the test is that we did the swatch, which included all of the motifs. It was a big swatch. It was a lot of work. And I was hitting gauge perfectly on my swatch, but then once I actually knit up the sweater, it came out smaller than intended. So some of my motifs, even in this version, not in the swatch, I measured them and they are perfect. So the large cable motif is perfect, and my lace is actually, it like just came out right on gauge, which is kind of unusual that I can get it perfectly. But the little cables here in the center, and then I don't know if you can see, I can't see what you're seeing back there, but the twisted stitch motif in the back, there are 2 of them running down the back, and those, my twisted motif in particular came out a 1/2 inch smaller on each of those than it was supposed to be. So I lost 1 inch there. I lost some, probably I lost 1 inch overall, like across the 2 cables. Well, not 1 inch across the 2, but probably there are 4 of these on the front and the back, and I probably lost 1 inch across the 4 of those. And so consequently, I did not get the positive ease that was intended. So Wool and Pine, Selena and Abby did go back and alter the pattern. For the size 4 in particular, they added a front arm side. So I didn't have any on the back. There are arm side stitches that are added on the front though. Originally on the size 4, those were not there. So they added some stitches. So I assume that made the arm drop probably wider and more, like my arm drop does not come down as long as it does in like the designer photos. So I think that is probably what that was intended to do, was help that to come down further. And then they also just changed the sizing as well. And yeah, so it was a little disappointing that I didn't get the, I didn't come out with the positive ease that I had intended, but I'm not bothered by it enough that I would feel the need to reknit it. I think it looks really good. Yeah, I definitely, they had a note in the pattern to go up in needle size on the arms, and I think that's really important. So if you make this, be sure to follow that advice to go up a needle size. So I used a size 7 needle, US 7 on the collar and the hems, and then on the body I did a size 8, and on the sleeves I did a size 9. So that's like a 4.5 to a 5.5 millimeter needles that were used. And this one took me, I started August 26th and I finished on September 21st. I mean, it goes pretty fast. You start with the back, and you knit the whole back piece. It is knit top down, but it is seamed, so you can't try it on, which is another reason, like this is what I hate about seam things, is like you can't tell if they're not going to be exactly what you intended size-wise until you're done, unless I guess you could take measurements and figure out how much your side seams are going to take up. But you knit the back first, and then you come and you knit one front, knit the other front, and then join those, and then you just knit the front the rest of the way down, and then you seam them up the sides, and then you add the sleeves. I think I did my V collar before I think I did it as soon as I got my front side, because you knit the back and then you pick up stitches, I think, for the front. So knit the back, pitch up stitches, knit the front, knit that front, and then once I got that joined, I went ahead and put my collar on. It's just doing the collar helps you to see a little bit better where everything's gonna sit. I felt like I wanted that for both to figure out my sleeve length and to figure out how long I wanted to make it. It is a cropped, sweater, like that is what they call for. So if you wanted to make it longer, which I think it would look super cute longer, you know, you'll want to add more yarn. I used 5 balls almost exactly. I had a little bit left over of my 5th ball, which I bought 6 balls. I knew I might not use that 6th one, but I didn't want to have to reorder. And so I went ahead and got 6. And I ordered from a new to me company called Wool and Company. They had a whole bunch of different colors of the Cantata to choose from. So like they had all the colors. It was kind of hard to narrow it down. There were a lot of really pretty ones. And so I ordered from them, but they had free shipping, which is amazing. And they also had free yarn winding. So I don't know about everybody else, but like the thought of having to wind yarn, like seriously makes me not use a lot of the yarn that I have, because even though I have a Swift and a winder, just the thought of having to drag it all out and set it up and then crank, I don't know. I just hate doing it. And so when I saw they had the free winding, I was like, yes, please do that. So I had them had them cake up all of my yarn, and it was to my house within like 3 days of ordering. I ordered over the weekend and it was there by like Wednesday. So amazing service, super fast. Yeah, I will definitely be using them again. But all that to say, because I had them go ahead and cake that yarn up for me, I will not be able to return my extra full ball that I have. So, but I was willing to risk that to not have to crank that yarn myself. But yeah, I am really happy with this. I will say, like, I'll just let you look at the pictures of me modeling it. I don't love it I don't like how the back of me looks in the sweater. I don't think this is the fault of the sweater at all. It's not the pattern. I think it's just my shape and drop sleeves. Like, I don't like drop sleeves on me. I don't think they're that bad in the front, but I just feel like in the back, I look like a football player. I don't know. And I have read before that people with hourglass shapes like probably want to stay away from drop shoulders. So I guess it makes sense that I don't like how they look on me. Like, you can wear whatever you like. It's just on me. I just feel like I don't like how I look in them. So, and I knew that going in, but I love the cabling so much that I didn't care. I would love to see this on, like a set-in sleeve, or, some like saddle shoulder. I don't even mind saddle shoulder. Like, I don't think saddle shoulders look great on me, but I don't think they look as bad as a drop shoulder. But, yeah, I would love to see this on another construction that wasn't a drop shoulder, because it is so gorgeous. Love it. Okay, so that is the 3-season pullover, and it just released this week that I'm recording this. So it is out. You can get yours. It's amazing. It is a quick knit, in my opinion. And let's see. Once to me, the hardest part was the back, because, it is larger, like it's more fabric that you're doing in the back than for the front. So, it makes sense that it would take longer, but also for me, the hardest stitch is the twisted stitch, which you do when you're on the purl side. And so that kind of hurts my hands. I tend to be a pretty tight knitter. I have loosened up a lot over the years, which is why I think I can finally do cables and they don't kill my hands, because there were many years where I was like, how does anybody cable? Because it hurts so bad. And I think like, and it was just so hard. And the stitches, like if I didn't get them on the cable needle, I would lose them, they would run away. And I think it's because I was just strangling the yarn so hard. But now that I have loosened up overall with my knitting, cabling is not too bad, but the twisted stitch on the back, like the texture is really cool. However, it was hard on my hands. And that was also, where I lost a lot of the width of my back. So anyway, yeah, I think that's all I want to say about that. Okay. And then behind me, let's see if I can bring this forward. Well, it's not very good. Well, I'll put up some pictures of it, so that you can see those modeled pictures. She's fallen off there. Modeled pictures over here. But this is let me look at my iPad. I forgot that I hadn't finished this last time, and so I did not write it down on my list. This is the Why Not Tee by Rachel Ilsley, and it's one that I had started on a road trip that we were doing this summer, and then had worked on it off and on over the summer. So I cast this on June 30th and finished it up on August the 24th. I used Knit Picks Hawthorne Speckle in tie-dye, the tie-dye colorway. And I'm happy with this. I have worn it several times so far I've worn it to work. I think it's cute. I love all of the texture on the yoke. I'm not sure. So I used the speckle because one, I had accidentally somehow bought tons of this tie-dye speckle. Like I think I bought it one time and then when it was on sale, and then I bought it another time when it was on sale, not remembering that I had already bought that exact colorway. So yeah, don't be me. I did have it all in Ravelry. I just didn't actually check that before I purchased more of it. So anyway, I had a lot of the speckle, and I was like, oh, love to use that up. It looked really cute on hers, but I just, yeah, so I like it. I'm just not sure that the speckle is the best for letting the texture of the pattern show through, because this tee required a lot of work. Like I would say that yoke up there was much more challenging than all of the cabling and twisted stitches and stuff on the 3-season pullover. It was just a lot. There were a lot of braids. There were a lot of things that took just a very long time and a lot of dexterity to do them. And I don't know that you can really see all of the work that I put into it. Yeah, unless you're really close up, because the speckling just kind of overpowers it. So yeah, I'm not going to do this again, but if I were to do it again, I would recommend doing it in a solid, a light solid color. I used 3.8 skeins of the Hawthorne, and that is the fingering weight Hawthorne. They now have a DK weight, but that's the fingering. What else to say about it? Oh, I will say it does. So the neck is really large. I don't know if when I cast on, I knew that the cast on was going to be the neck hole. So I tried to cast on loosely. I didn't use like a stretchy cast on or anything. I just used long tail cast on. But I definitely remember trying to go, intentionally be gentle loose with that cast on, because I didn't want it like strangling me. However, I think it's too loose. It wants to fall off my shoulders. I'm always having to pull it up so that my bra strap isn't showing, which is super annoying. So I don't know. I know a lot of people talk about like doing crochet around the inside to like suck up some of that slack and to reinforce it. So I might try to do that. I don't have any crochet skills, but hopefully I can figure that out. I don't know that putting elastic in it is really going to make a difference. I do have some like elasticated thread I could try. But I have not been bothered enough by that to actually take time to do that at this point. Yeah. And then the other thing that bothers me is, like, you might be able to kind of tell there, it sucks in, like this twisted stitch, that goes around your arm. It's before you cast off, for the sleeve, or before you put the sleeves on hold. So it's like the last big set of textured twists that you're doing going around the arm. I don't know if I just did mine too tight, or it's just the nature of those twists that they don't have very much give to them, but it I think it looks fine when it's on, but I feel it. Like the whole time that I'm wearing it, it's like just putting pressure on my arm, and it's irritating. And so I don't like that, because I just don't like being aware of a garment like the whole time that I'm wearing it. Like, I think, you know, I have a kid who is autistic, and like if he were to wear a shirt that had something that was like pushing on his arm, he would like not wear it. And I wouldn't wear it either if I hadn't made it and put all of that time into it. So so yeah, that's just something to think about. Be really loose on that one. And you know, that could have just been that I tightened up or something, like just, or it's because my arms that move are in there. But like the same set of stitches that are higher up, like don't bother me at all. It's just the ones that go around the arms. But yeah, been pretty happy with that. And Hawthorne is an easy care yarn, so like the reason this looks really wrinkly is because I actually threw it in the washing machine and the dryer, and I haven't like steamed it out or anything, because it did get left in the dryer and got pretty wrinkly, so it does not look very nice now, but it will before I wear it the next time. Okay, another recent make is the Wild Iris hat, and this was a test that I did for Briana of Briana Arlene Knits. It should be released by the time that I post this. At this particular point, it has not been released yet. I used Knit Picks Journey Tweed Bear, which is a combination of silk, alpaca, and merino, and then it's got some other percentage of other in it, which I guess is the tweed neps that are in there. And that yarn is discontinued, which is really sad. I think I've talked about that yarn before, but I loved the Journey Tweed Bear. I got the bear, like that's the color bear, the undyed version in last year's big sale, and I thought I really enjoyed working with it a lot. It has a very interesting hand feel. It has really pretty drape. I just think it's a very nice yarn. But they discontinued it. The dyed versions, I did not understand what their thinking was on the dyed versions. Like it wasn't a tonal, it was a like multicolored dye, and I was not at all attracted to the Journey Tweed at all in the dyed up versions, but the bear I thought had a lot of potential, and then when I got my hands on it, I loved it. So I don't know, that one's a big puzzle to me, like what they were going for, and I'm sad that it is discontinued because the bear is really nice. But I used that yarn along with leftovers I had of Spincycle dyed in the wool Colors of Earth, and so I'll have to show you pictures over here on the side, because I was like, I'm not gonna wear this hat. I have a bajillion hats already, so I posted it on my social media and asked my friends if any of them wanted it, and somebody did. So it has already gone off to a home with somebody who can give it the love that it deserves. But it was a lot of fun to make. I like making hats. I just we don't have enough cold weather to justify having 1,000 hats each around here. And it was brioche. The brim, it's like this very, very deep brim. I want to say the brim was close to 9 inches, if not 9 inches deep, so that you can have a fully doubled over brioche brim. And so like when I was making it, I would just spend time squishing because it was so squishy and felt so good. So yeah, I will say that like both of those, so the Journey Tweed is sport, the Spincycle is sport, but as you know, if you've ever used the Spincycle dyed in the wool before, like I'm like, this is lighter than the Hawthorne like behind me, which is fingering. So I don't know where they get that classification that it's sport weight, but I had originally, like, you have to decide when you're making the Wild Iris hat, you decide whether you want, like which side you want to be your right side. And so I had decided, like, I wanted, like, whether you want your contrast color, the knit columns or the contrast color purl columns to be showing. And I wanted, the side, I think it was the side with, the Spincycle where the knit side would be showing as my like good side that I wanted to be public facing. And so I had started with that in mind, but then as I was going along, my fabric, like it showed up much better on the other side. And I wonder if that's because it was lighter, because I was not the only person that happened to. There were several other folks, who had that issue as well, where they thought that they were going to use one side as a right side and then ended up they needed to flip it over and use the other side. And I wonder if it's just because my contrast color was lighter weight than the other, and so it like wasn't as pronounced or something. But anyway, it's wonderful though the way Briana has it written, because if that happens to you where it turns out, oh, actually I like the other side better, she gives you a little hack for how to switch your sides before when you start to move into the non-brioche, just the rib section of the hat. But it's really fun. The design, it's like, it also meant to be one of those like very tall hats with the reservoir tip at the end, that are in style now. I don't know that hats look very good on me at all, like any hats, but I do feel goofy wearing that particular style. So again, that's part of the reason, like, I enjoyed making it, and I think it's a wonderful pattern. Definitely recommend it. It's just not necessarily one that I would get wear out of. So that was a really fun knit. I always enjoy testing for Briana. I made the size 3, which I think was the large size, but I'm the largest size, but I'm not sure. I used a US 6 size needle, which is a 3mm. Yeah, and it was fun. I started it September 13th and finished on September 21st, and I was definitely not knitting on that monogamously. It was my project for when I just needed something that was easy and didn't require a whole lot of thinking. The beginning, definitely, that took some thinking, because it was a new to me technique where you cast on in the 2 colors and you start, like, you cast on in knit and purl. It may have been just one color, but it was definitely you cast on in a knit and purl, and I had not done that before. And then you go immediately into the brioche. And so there were definitely some new to me techniques in there that I learned that did take a little concentration at the beginning, but once it was going, it was totally fine. So that was a lot of fun. Enjoyed that. Highly recommend the pattern, which will be out by the time I post this. All right. And then next up for finished objects, I have these mittens. Let's see, show you the back side. These are the Songbird Mitts by Sarah of Gray Owl Knits. I have, sorry, was focusing on my shirt back there. I have tested for Sarah a number of times, always enjoy her work. She does the most fun color work things. She has a cowl out called Mine, like the seagulls, mine. And I just think it is so cute. I'm super excited. I like don't wear a lot of cowls, but I really want to make that one because I don't know, for some reason it just tickles me. But she posted a beautiful teaser photo of these and a matching cowl that she's designed, and I just think they're so pretty. So yeah, I volunteered to test for these, and they were super quick. Mitts are so easy because you don't have to do any finishing on them. I use Knit Picks palette, just all yarn that I had on hand. The colors were like this pink one is Peony, and then the yellow is Semolina, and then the green is Spruce. And yeah, these were the Spruce and the Semolina were left over from other projects, and the only full ball that I was working with here was the Peony, and it just took just a teeny bit of really each of those except the Spruce to make. This is all 2-color knitting, and I just decided to do duplicate stitch for my some bird feathers, and then these berries or flowers or whatever those are there. Just because in Sarah's the cowl version that has some of the same motifs, she had duplicate stitched on there, and so I think that's where there's a lot of people in the testing group who were also doing the duplicate stitch, and that was, I think, where we got the idea for that. So that's not in the pattern, that's just added on. But those were really quick. So did I say I knit on those from October the 5th to October the 12th. And the color work is quite easy. Like I wouldn't necessarily recommend it as a first color work pattern, just because small repeating motifs are the easiest kind of color work to do, like the backside. Like this kind of color work is super duper easy because you can really easily see if you've messed up. Also, you now I'm looking at it and going, did I mess up somewhere on the back? I don't know. I don't think I did, but it's easy to predict and remember what you're supposed to be doing. With a larger motif that is not repeating almost anywhere, it's a little bit harder, but I did feel like overall this was a really easy color work because you didn't, like, there were not hardly any rows that had long stitches. Like I did not have to catch very many floats. I was gonna say, oh, I'll show you the inside, but the inside really doesn't look that good because of the duplicate stitch, but I guess I can show you anyway. There's my inside. So, duplicate stitch, not so pretty, but yeah. I did have the problem, like I wanted to cast these on so bad, but my mom had a hip replacement surgery the other day, or a couple of weeks ago, and during the surgery they fractured her femur, and so her recovery was supposed to be pretty easy from the hip replacement surgery, but it got a lot more complicated when her hip was broken, and so she had to stay with us for a weekend as she was transitioning from one place to another, different relatives that she was staying with. So I was helping her that weekend that the test had just started for these, and I really wanted to work on these, but but I was also taking care of her, and so one time, I got her settled and sat down and cast these on and started working, and I knew I shouldn't have worked on the color work, but I was just so excited because I love color work, so I started working on it and was like, yes, I'm doing it, even though I got interrupted and had to get up and sort of do things several different times, and but I was like, I want to work on it anyway, so I did, and then and then I realized, oh no, I forgot that there's supposed to be a thumb. And so I had just like knit to about right here. You know, because when you're doing color work, you're so excited to see the different stitches, the pattern appear. And so I was just focused on that and forgot that there needed to be a thumb, which is definitely in the pattern right there. I was just, you know, distracted and not paying attention. So I had to rip back about 10 rows and get that thumb added back. But all's well, it's fine. My mom is also doing fine, so don't worry about her. We're all recovering from that. Okay, so those are all my finished objects. On to works in progress. So let's see. Last time I talked, I definitely had this guy going. It was just sort of the yoke, and so now I have got the body completed and I have started on the sleeve. This is the Amissa pullover, a pattern that I'm testing for Kim of Indigo Knits. And yeah, I'm just trucking along on this one. This is a testing deadline that's in November. And so I have definitely, like, this project is my stockinette in the round project. I had gotten the yoke finished before my semester started. And then I was saving all of the stockinette sections for my son is in marching band, and this is marching band season, and so I knew I would be going to football games to watch him and have lots of stuck in the stands time, and so I was saving it specifically to take to those, and so that is where I finished the body. And the other day at one of his contests, I got this sleeve about halfway done. It was much longer, and I realized that my it looked small, and so I tried it on. I went ahead and knitted anyway because I didn't have anything else to do, and I just can't sit still for long periods of time without knitting. So I knitted anyway, even knowing that I was probably going to have to rip it out. When I got home, I measured the gauge, and my gauge was smaller than it was supposed to be. It had tightened up, probably because of the small circumference. That's pretty normal. That's why, like on this one, the designer said to use the larger needle, which Kim had said that as well, to use a larger needle. I just didn't see that. That's the problem with knitting on a project, I think, off and on, is that, you know, you read the instructions once, and then when you pick it up 3 weeks later, you don't remember those instructions that you read at that point. So anyway, all that to say, I ripped that sleeve completely out and redid it a higher needle size, and I'm also decreasing at a slower rate than is in the pattern, which Kim was fine with modifications like that as needed. So yeah, this one's going along and it should be finished pretty soon. I just need to sit down and work on it, and it'll be done. So that one is going, and then let's see, I had written in my notes as a little treat to myself, I cast this one on. So this is Low Tide by Rachel Ilsley of Unwind Knitwear. And this one, like, you can't appreciate this scrunched up. I'm not sure what you can see there, but this one has the most beautiful undulating wavy lace and small cable pattern. It's going down the arms as well. This is one like oh my goodness, I can't remember the name of that Camilla Vad sweater from last summer that I had seen on Instagram when she first started teasing it, and I was like dying to make it. I mean, I had never like looked so hard for a pattern to drop as that one, and I got it the day it released and knit it right up. I felt the same way about this one. Like, as soon as her testers started posting their makes, I was dying to make that one. So yeah, I think I bought it the day it released, and I'm not sure how much later it was September, but September 21st is when I cast it on, which is not that long after it came out. I am doing the lowered neck version. Like, there's a couple of different options you have on the neck. It was really unusual the way that the pattern starts. So it definitely required like some strict attention to the pattern, reading the directions. But like, now that it's going, it's not bad at all. But yeah, the construction at the top was really, really interesting. It's just very unusual. It wasn't hard. It was just not your typical thing, but like you basically, you start right into the pattern. So that's the backside that I have marked. There's some short rows there, but you I think you start in the back and you knit some short rows, and then you come around and you pick up, or you cast on maybe the sleeve stitches and like do some work there, and then you come around and then you cast on for the front. I don't know now. It's very unusual. So it is a very engaging knit. It is one that I have been working on it off and on. Like, it's not hard now that I'm in the body, just doing the same chart over and over, but it is a big chart. And probably some people can memorize it. I am not that good at lace. So I definitely don't trust myself at this stage of maybe a third of the way through to that I will ever have it memorized. I definitely can't work it without the pattern. And when you're not working sort of a resting row, I do have to like have the pattern right in front of me paying attention. And so consequently, like, this one is not a good one to watch, like if you're watching movies that require attention or anything like that. So it gets picked up and put down as I have time. And I am, working it in Knit Picks Stroll in the color Dogwood. Like I said, you can see I have got a pink theme going on. So I know pink is not a winter color, but I like it. I think it looks good on me. And I love the way that the Dogwood Heather is knitting up. I think it looks really, really pretty, the heathering. I think this will be my first like top that's made out of Stroll. So I've used Stroll a ton for accessories and for socks and stuff, but I don't know. Well, I've used it for children's garments. I don't think I've made anything for myself out of Stroll before as a top. So we'll see how it holds up. And then so this is a work in progress that I did not actually get accomplished in the time that I had intended. I always like to do Shira, is that how you say her name? Shira? Imagine Landscapes, gnome knit-alongs. I like the mystery gnomes. However, I don't really like the mystery part of it, because I find it, I never buy like the kits that have been made, and so I find it hard to choose colors until I can see how the gnome is actually going to come out. And so what I usually do, which works fine for me, is wait until after all of the clues have been released and people start posting their finished gnomes. And I go in and look at those, and then I decide my colors, and then I start knitting, which works normally, except when the gnome is this big. So this is the hat of the gnome. And sorry, I'm reaching over to get, here's a gnome. Sorry, he's got like a spider web or something on him. This is what the gnomes normally, like, this is a normal sized one of her gnomes for scale. And then here is the hat that doesn't even fit in the whole thing does not fit in the frame, to show you how much larger this one is going to be. So I love how it's knitting up. I think it's going to be super cute. I think the ones that people have posted are really cute, but I did not get this done. The deadline, like if you wanted to be entered for prizes in the gnome knit along, they were due on, I think, October 13th. And I was like, meh, I'm not gonna make that one. So anyway, this is my gnome started. So his hat is, I think, all the way done. And then this is gonna be his body, and it's not very far. You can see here, I always knit my gnomes. I knit everything in magic loop. I don't like small circumference cables. I have big hands. Yeah, can't handle the little needles, so I do everything in magic loop. So I've got a couple of gnome legs, a gnome hat, and the beginning of a gnome bottom there. So hopefully he'll get done before Christmas. But it's just a lot of stockinette at this point on him. So yeah, and the yarn that I'm using for that, my brown is Knit Picks Stroll and Grizzly, and then the self-striping was Felici, which is Knit Picks self-striping that was discontinued but is coming back supposedly in November, and I like that mint chip color. It's one of my favorites of theirs. It's from several years ago, but I have a big Felici stash. Yeah, so I started those September 22nd, and they're still on. I'm sure that it will be on the needles for well over a month. Okay, and then finally, I am working on, this is called the Edgar Slipover by Joanna Garish. And this is what I've got done so far. I've got the top of the back and one side of the V-neck, and then I have started on the other side. So this is gonna be a vest, or slipover, I guess is the European term for them, for my husband. Last year I went a little wild over the vest. I have made myself 3 vests now, since last August, and I loved them. I really, really enjoyed wearing them. Again, because it doesn't get super cold here for a lot of the year. Something that is just warm on the core was, I don't know, it was really great. And so, yeah, I wore a lot of the vests. Also, I was a child of the 90s, so I enjoy that aspect of it as well. So I had told my husband, I was like, I'll make you a vest, I'll make you a vest. I think you'll really like it. Because he works from home, and once it gets cold, he is always, like, he wears all of the sweaters I make him, and he will wear things around his neck. Anyway, I think he'll get a lot of wear out of it. And I had bought this Knit Picks upcycle Surrey alpaca a couple of years ago. This was one of their like special reserve things that they had offered at during the big sale time. I think it was like leftovers or something from some other yarn. I can't remember what they said. Like, it's been a couple of years since I bought this, and I didn't buy it when it first came out, but I bought it later when it was on even deeper discount. So I think I paid like $2 a ball for this. And my thinking was, I had never tried Surrey alpaca, so I just wanted to see what it was like generally. So I, got what I thought would be a sweater's quantity of that. It is 100% Surrey alpaca. It's Aran weight. I never know. Is it Aran weight? The one that's like a little bit up from worsted. But it's pretty so it's Aran weight, but like the central core definitely does not look super thick. But it's very, very fuzzy. So I guess it's like mohair, says it's lace weight, but you can knit it with something at a heavier gauge because it fills in, the fluff does. Anyway, I thought this hopefully will work for that slipover. And so I had my husband go through some options on Ravelry as far as patterns, and he ended up selecting the Edgar Slipover, which was one that I had initially sort of picked for him, and then I was like, well, I'll let him, you know, pick. And I found out there's not a whole lot of, you know, we talk about size inclusivity in patterns. I had sort of been thinking about that from the women's perspective, but when I went to look for a worsted or Aran weight slipover vest for men that comes in, you know, more than an extra large, there was hardly anything. I mean, I had I had looked through patterns, done an advanced search and looked through patterns and picked everything that I thought he might be interested in, and there were like 7 patterns or something that I thought went up big enough that I could maybe make modifications to them if needed, because he wears like a 3 to 4 XL. So yeah, so we ended up with the Edgar Slipover, which is a more recent pattern, and I don't think it looks very unisex. I definitely think it looks kind of feminine, but yeah, I think it's workable, and he didn't seem to mind how, you know, it looked. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I am modifying the pattern, like it calls for a twisted rib, sort of design detail, that goes down the sides of the, what do you call this? Just where you would have a sleeve, right? Normally there's some, that side is twisted rib, and then that goes on down the vest as well. I'm not sure if I will do that, like going on down the side, because that's one of the things that I do feel like looks a little bit more feminine. But how I'm modifying is like it calls for twisted rib, and this is what I'm working with. Like there's no way anybody is gonna tell whether that's twisted, or like you can barely even see that it's ribbed. So I'm not doing that. Also, this yarn is a pain to work with. It is, I mean, it's soft, but it's so hairy. My needles get caught, and it's hard to see, you know, where the core is versus what's just some fluff hanging off. So it definitely makes me confident that I should never get sucked into boucle yarn, because like that's what I hear about it, is that it's such a pain to knit. And I'm like, if I hate this, I can't imagine how much more I would hate like actual solid yarn bits hanging off of the core. So anyway, working on that. I think that you know, I think that the project is the pattern is making a lot of sense so far. You knit down the back, then you pick up and knit, you know, both of the front sides, and that's as far as I've gotten, is picking up that second side. So hopefully later today I will have joined that together, and I wanted that project to go ahead and get on the needles, because I needed another mindless knit, because I'm about to just be down to well, if I spend any time working on my Amissa pullover, it will be done, and then I won't have any stockinette to work on. So definitely needed another one. And then upcoming plans, another design that I saw on Instagram and fell in love with was the Iris pullover by, I have no idea how you say her name, Annalie. Sorry, I'm butchering that. But I don't even think she was a designer that I hadn't been following. I think it was one of those like recommended for you that just popped up on my Instagram feed, and I was like, oh my goodness, that is gorgeous. It was the Iris pullover, and so because I saw that one, then I started following her, and she has lots of really pretty designs, lots of like cable and lace that's just very sort of understated and sophisticated, and then the Iris pullover is color work, and it, hopefully I don't have a lot of regrets about it, because, you know, I was just talking about drop sleeves, I should stay away from them. Guess what the Iris pullover is drop sleeves, but I am going for like I'm going for the amount of positive ease stated, and I'm hoping that maybe it being very oversized will help me, but yeah, Trin Anelli, Annalie. Somebody please let me know how to pronounce that if you know. She had posted a call for testers, and so I applied for that and was accepted. And the yarn that is recommended for that is Holst yarn Super Soft, which I've never tried any Holst yarn before. And she had actually a little discount that we could get if we use that yarn. And I was like, I had just like literally the week before been looking at Holst. I had looked at the Holst website because I was interested in their Coast, which is like a half cotton, half wool yarn that comes in fingering weight. And so I was like, that would probably be good for, for lightweight tees and stuff for me. With our weather again. And so I was interested in ordering that. And so that sort of pushed me over the edge, the discount. It was only good on the Super Soft, but I figured if I'm going to pay for shipping all the way from, is it Sweden, Norway? I can't remember where it's from now. Denmark? Somewhere in Scandinavia. If I'm paying for shipping from there, then I should just go ahead and order both of those. And they're not expensive yarns, neither the Super Soft nor the Coast are. It's more just paying for shipping. That's the issue. So I ordered that, and I'm really excited to try that. It sounds like a very interesting yarn. Everybody says that it's very good for color work, that it has, it comes with the oil, the spinning oil still in it. And so you can't go by what it feels like when you first work with it. And you have to wash your swatch so you can see what happens. Sometimes I'm not always the best about if I'm testing, I will wash my swatch, but if I'm just doing something for myself, I don't always go the whole 9 yards and swatch it. Wash my swatch. But I guess I definitely will with this one since I've never worked with it before. And it blooms, and looks very different than it does when you're first knitting it. So I'm waiting on that yarn to come in. Very excited about that. Anyway, I figure even if I don't like necessarily how that the pullover looks on me, I will still enjoy it as an art piece. So yeah, I'm going to be testing the size 3 on that one, which I don't remember what the measurements are on that. And I did inquire when I signed up for the test, she had a place where you could ask any questions, and I put that field in the form, is there substantial amounts of 3-color knitting? Because if they are, pull, I rescind my volunteering to do this. So she had answered to everybody that there was no 3-color knitting in there. So, very happy to hear that, that this one that I had fallen in love with did not have 3-color. And then, let's see, the podcaster Allie Makes Everything is hosting a Fix It Fall knit along, and I thought that was a really good idea. And so that's thinking about my plans, maybe I can use that as a kick in the pants to work on some things that I need to fix, as the hashtag says. So I have a love note that I made several years ago, and I love the colors. I love it. But at the time that I made it, I was thinking, I don't want this cropped because, it won't fit with my wardrobe. I'm not going to wear a cropped sweater with pants. Well, then I realized that the main way that I wanted to wear it was over dresses, and that actually it would look a lot better if it was cropped. So I want to go in and take out about that much length, and it's been sitting there for a year. I literally pulled it out and I have it sitting on my dresser in my closet, needing, I just need to go in and unpick the bottom and then unravel, because it's knit top down. So I should, it should be super easy to go in and just undo that, assuming I might want to freeze it first, because I do have mohair in it. So that might not be fun, but I think it should be a relatively easy fix. I just haven't actually sat down and done it, which I should, because then I could actually get some wear out of it. And then I have a top that is called the Southwood, and it's a really interesting piece, with like, I don't know, I can't describe it. Maybe I'll put a picture of it up here. But what I did, when I was making it, there's a lace inset in the back, and I thought my lace inset was too short, and so I added like some extra length to it. And then like you have to knit that part before you like 3-needle bind off it into the garment, like overall. And I thought, I don't know, this was so dumb. Like I decided, well, I'm just gonna like fold up this extra, because I realized I had some extra when I did like that. I had too much length when I got there, and so like I folded it up so that there's like this lump now at the top point of my back. And at the time I had longer hair, and I was like, nobody will ever know because my hair is gonna cover it up anyway. But the last couple of years, my hair has been short enough that like there's the weird little lump at the back, and people will see it. So anyway, I just need to, I don't know how difficult surgery would be on it. I might have to do some like cutting and grafting of pieces and not just unpicking. So that one will be a little bit more intensive, I think. Like it won't be hard once I figure out what I want to do. I don't think it'll be hard, but I just like need to make time to actually sit down and do it. So maybe the Fix It Fall knit along will be an opportunity for me to do that. So yeah. What are you guys knitting for the fall? Anything? I love looking at everybody's plans, but I'm trying to, I don't know, not make plans. I have a queue full of things. I even have yarn lined up for them, but I just know as soon as I make plans, like I'm gonna, some new sweater is gonna come along and tempt me away. So I'm just open to wherever the universe takes me at this point. Yeah, but let me know what you're doing. I would love to hear. Thanks. Bye.